Gambit, your move. Who do you want to remove? We're probably going to pick the other one. I'm expecting a Jarvan or a Zed for this first pick.
Yeah, Zed looks like it's going to get locked in. sOAZ just confirming with his team. We have seen sOAZ on Zed a number of times. And interestingly, it was Gambit this time around that banned Kha'Zix.
So in terms of the Zed plays, every time Zed has been picked, his team has won the game. So we'll see whether or not this trend continues in the final. At the moment, though, Jarvan and Elise immediately hovered over, but they have not been locked in. If those two do get locked in, maybe something like a Varus Leona may be a possibility. It has been a sort of hotly contested picks. With the jungler being locked in for Gambit, it means that Fnatic can leave that till later and get some more priority picks on their side.
Well, one thing I will say is these teams have stayed constant because they are all picking the same pool of champions right now. Everybody is focusing on those same champions. It does look like we're going to see Darien or EDward.
Or EDward, correct.
Or not going to be Diamond, because if that Jarvan gets locked in. He's actually played a very good Jarvan in the last few games. And this actually pleases me to see Jarvan rather than Elise or Amumu.
So Diamond Brox actually had a Facebook post about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago saying, I underestimated Jarvan. I thought he was too easy to play and therefore I thought he sucked. It pretty much is the gist of what he was saying. And then he pretty much said, look, the amount of utility, the amount of damage that he offers and the abilities, it's very, very powerful. The fact that they've swapped over to Varus was what we were saying. You know, Fnatic were anticipating to pick that in. And Genja said, I want Varus, give them Jarvan. Now this whole psychological thing starts with Fnatic. Do they want us to pick Jarvan because they've got a counter? Do they want us to think that they think we, you know, this whole psychological game of picks and bans and cat and mouse at the moment?
Too deep, man, too deep. I think Cyanide's going to take Jarvan regardless. It's a champion he's run a number of times, and it seems a pretty solid pick. Hasn't won every single game so far, but it has been close to.
Volibear was good for him in the last game, though.
Yes.
The flips were really, really important. His passive saved him a number of times as well. So if he is going to go with Jarvan, it's pretty much going to be, you know, the staple of the junglers right now. So that's not too surprising, but it hasn't been locked in. And these teams are really, really thinking about who they want to play. I think a support might get locked in here and maybe leave their, you know, sort of top carry and top lane and AD for later.
Well, the last thing Fnatic want to do after a game like that is let the adrenaline dump that they've just had fog their minds and make them cause a problem in picks and bans, you know, because you can lose a game in picks and bans. If you completely throw up your picks and just completely screw up, you can just be like, oh, we went all this game, all these hours of play, and we screwed it up in the picks and bans in the last match.
So let's see how Alex decides to counter Zed for this particular matchup. We've seen a Malphite going up against Kha'Zix. We've seen a Kennen against Zed. If Nasus, he's made it through the picks and the bans. One game was not, you know, involved at all. This will be the jungler for Gambit, which makes me think that Darien or EDward will take that Elise. I still feel like, you know, Kayle could be a good pick, and it's not going to get countered by Janna as much. He's not going to be reliant, you know, he's not going to be a champion that needs to run in there. Elise and Nasus will be knocked away by the Janna ultimate, whereas Kayle, he can sit further back, use that Righteous Fury and splash damage from away.
And we'll see how it worked out, of course. nRated's Janna in the last game was absolutely magnificent, and that monsoon saved many, many lives. The Howling Gales were working wonders. I'll tell you what, I don't know about this game. Sona has been selected, though, so we are going to see EDward once again on his muse. And this time, YellowStaR thinking of channeling is Inazuna.
Now, I like this pickup. Tristana, one of the best late-game carries you can get. She outranges absolutely everybody thanks to her passive, the amount of damage she can get down, and then the safety factor. So you've got Janna that can save you, then you're going to have Buster Shot that's going to save you against anybody diving in. Elise and Nasus can both get knocked back by the same Buster Shot. So I would really like to see this being locked in for Fnatic. And in addition to that, the early game sort of weakness that Tristana sort of has, that lull, can be counterbalanced by the shield. If Twitch gets locked in, it's another carry that YellowStaR has played extensively throughout the spring split, and they're swapping over. There's a lot of thought, but they keep coming back to Vayne.
They do keep coming back to Vayne. YellowStaR really wants to play it, and maybe he's trying to persuade his team this time around, but it does look like he's switching between three members. Rumble has been locked in, though. That means it's going to be Peke on Zed in the mid lane, and Twitch is selected. It's a champion that YellowStaR has played a number of times during the LCS, and he has played it very, very well.
Now, in terms of Twitch, the thing that is going to be very important to keep note of is positioning. YellowStaR got caught out a number of times playing Kog'Maw, and that's a problem for him. In terms of the spring split, played 5 times with Twitch, won 4 games, and an average KDA of 5.
Yeah, he did a very good job in a number of those games. Diana currently being hovered over by EDward, but until that actually gets locked in. I never believe what he's selecting.
No, not at all. It is a good pick because it will be a very aggressive mid lane. Diana's going to build a Zhonya's Hourglass anyway, so that's going to help counteract the power that Zed will have in lane. Having a shield as well means that it's going to be a little bit easier to survive that initial damage and aggression that Peke is going to be putting down with Zed if they decide to go 1v1. It also opens up possibilities of 1v2 lanes and, you know, weird setups like we've already seen in this series so far.
Diana still not going to get locked in just yet. No, he is. So they're going to use Diana against Zed, or will they? Will they move those lanes around just like they did in the last game, or will they just completely nullify the lane phase and not bother with it?
I'm hoping for the latter because it's going to provide a very exciting game, especially with, again, all of the damage sources that are coming down the ladder. Once again, we have two supports that are going to be very utility heavy and very sort of save my teammates, and 4 damage sources from both teams. And it's just going to be a matter of who can get the damage sources more fed. In the previous game, if xPeke's Kha'Zix didn't have as many kills as early on, he may not have become that late game terror that he really was.
Well, we will see. Of course, this is game 5 of a best of 5, the final match. No, it's not blind pick. Sorry guys at home. Not sorry. It's not going to happen that way. It is all important though. $50,000 to the winner, $25,000 to second place, and this just being the spring split, of course. There's the crowd. They're excited to be here, and I'm sure you guys at home are excited to be watching because this has been an epic installment for a grand finals, and this will be the final match. It is the blue side, it's going to be Fnatic, and the red side seems to be the winning side right now in this grand finals of Gambit. Will the omens stay true? Will all 5 sides of red, will Joe Miller's shirt be the telling find, or will my shirt be the sign that does actually win the game? We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in and find out in just a few seconds.
Yeah, we got in the loading screen right now is, of course, the deciding matchup. It's effectively become a best of 1. We've seen these champions a number of times already, and this will be the first appearance for Diana. And is Diana the counter to Zed? Is Diana the champion that will be shutting down that ninja and killing his winning streak so far in the grand final? The look of focus on nRated's eyes. He is zoned into this matchup. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the final game of the grand final.
Here we go. It's Fnatic on the blue, Gambit on the red. And we are under starters' orders. It's going to be see whether there's any level 1 fights. I would say not.
Let's wait for level 2 and look for the red invade. That's what happened last time, and it's something we can almost count on. Again, we have a relatively slow start from both of these teams, setting up some vision wards and just making sure they don't get caught out. And the rat is going to get spotted by Genja, so I've got a little bit of early information.
Yeah, let's see whether they go for one another. nRated, of course, is there as well, where they can go and lock him up. He's going to stealth in and go in towards Genja. The shield gets put on him, and he goes straight aggressive on towards Genja. Does manage to put a good chunk of damage down on him. Has he gone for the expunge? Is it going to be enough? He's going to try and get one more shot. Not quite enough to get in there. YellowStaR, actually, I don't think he leveled up an ability there. No, he did. Of course, he stealth.
It was the stealth. So there was no expunge available, unfortunately. If nRated was able to get in range and exhaust him, maybe they could have made something happen. But all that's going to happen is Genja's just going to recall, heal back up, and move back into lane. At the moment, though, you see sOAZ, he's put a ward in the tri-bush, got some vision, and obviously Darien's going to be aware of it. So at the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to have any lane swaps. This is going to be a straight-up 1v1, top v top, mid v mid, and duo v duo to determine who is the #1 team in Europe.
So the Wolves are going to be picked up by Gambit. It does look like it will be that 2v2, as you mentioned, down that bottom lane. As it stands, Darien, he's going to take the golems in the top, or rather, he's going to give them to Darien, I feel. We're to see who's going to take them, we'll never know. YellowStaR is going to take those golems, however, and nRated is going to come around and help out Cyanide to take down that red buff. So, standard meta coming out from the teams. It is going to be straight-up fights. How will this work? Rumble versus Elise in that top lane. We're going to have, of course, Diana, Dirty Diana versus Peke in the mid lane. And the bottom lane is going to be nRated and YellowStaR on Twitch. And Janna, of course, versus Sona and Varus.
All right, I'm going to ask you to stretch your brains back all the way to game 1 of the series and think back to sOAZ's Rumble against Darien's Elise. sOAZ dominated him. He picked up 2 1v1 kills, and that Rumble Flame Spitter was enough to destroy Elise and her Spiderlings. We'll see whether or not sOAZ can replicate that performance. He's going to need to do it if they want to win. The only difference is, after Darien fed, Gambit bounced back to win the game at the end of it.
That said, it was because of Cyanide. It wasn't particularly sOAZ in a straight-up fight. It wasn't a fair, fierce fight. They did go in all guns blazing against the Knife Man.
Fair enough, but like I said, it was a 1v1, regardless of gank pressure. He managed to make it work. Cyanide has come to spread the love once more. Almost a rematch of the very first series of games. Cyanide, a very patient ganker, happy to wait until Darien oversteps his bounds. Darien does have that cocoon and repel available, as well as his flash, if he needs to get away to safety.
So Cyanide is laying in wait for a long period. He hasn't been spotted, of course, because he managed to stealth in towards that bush. Oh, look at that. He is tense, he's wound up, and he is ready to go. sOAZ takes down the siege minion. The waves are very even between them, and they're just waiting to see whether Darien is going to make those few foolish steps a little bit closer as the wave pushes in there. He's surely going to realize, hang on a minute, I just hit 4, and sOAZ did not.
Yeah, so I'm sure he'll be aware of it. There is a very large number of minions in front of him, so that's part of the reason for it. Darien is still playing defensive. If he does step a little bit further, Cyanide's going to go in instead. He's going to back away. So 30, 40 seconds worth of time lost. And it gives him a small CS deficit over his lane counterpart or opposite number Diamondprox.
Yeah, it's so obvious now. The fact that he still hasn't lit level 4 is Cyanide. Now it's in his mind. Has he gone? Has he not gone? Or will Diamondprox be coming in to help out? Or more importantly, will Cyanide go back just at the split second that Cyanide goes? He has, and Diamond has snuck in towards that top bush.
The problem is the lane is so heavily pushed that sOAZ is not really at risk of going down unless he, waits for this wave to push out. So the waiting game is on, and Diamondprox's patient meter is significantly less than Cyanide in this particular setup.
Thank you very much, Lane Tax. Have him off. I'm going to hit, run, and walk away. Just trying to see if there's any bait towards Cyanide, and not going to happen. Cyanide goes back to the Wolves and continues his merry farm. We see the level ups coming out both from Genja and EDward in his bottom lane. They are both in level 4. Fnatic, YellowStaR, and nRated both already there. I tell you a lie, YellowStaR is still in level 3, so he's just a little bit behind there. Power cord coming out didn't land on the target, I feel. I'm pretty sure he should have gone for YellowStaR with that one. Doesn't matter. There's going to be the wither on towards sOAZ. Forces the flash away. And the Spirit Fire went down. The Cocoon did not land, though.
So Flash and Ghost used for top laner and jungle, respectively. So we'll see how it goes. And there's the fight to the bottom.
They do manage to catch on towards him. He has been exhausted. Oh, and he flashed just at the moment the arrow was about to land. We're going to see EDward, though. Is he going to have power cord? No, he's not. He flashed in for that one on YellowStaR. And instead, he does manage to survive.
Flash is available for Varus, though, so if they force another fight, he will be able to potentially jump away, put himself out of expunge range. But aggressive bottom lanes from both of these two teams, and the fact that YellowStar's Twitch plus Janna does not have any sustain means he grabs himself a very early Vamp Scepter, comes back into lane, will be relying on those auto attacks to keep his health up. So,
how does this translate into the lane phase? Let's have a look, because Darien is actually falling behind at the moment to sOAZ, as did happen in game 1, as you said. There's more level ups coming out in the bottom lane. Diamondprox continues to take lane tags everywhere he goes. I haven't seen him in that jungle for a while. He just keeps on clearing out the waves.
And there's nothing entirely wrong with that, especially a champion like Nasus, and especially the way that Darien and Gambit play him. They'll rush him to 6 and try and get a very early dragon down. It's something that we've seen them do many, many times this split already. And obviously with the damage potential of Varus, of Diana, it'll be an even quicker, even safer dragon that they can force.
And we've not seen Peke actually on Zed in this series so far. Obviously before it was sOAZ, I believe, that played it last time around. Alex Ich, of course, has played it twice as well. So we'll see how that one develops, see if he builds it any different to anyone else. I wouldn't suspect he would, but you never know with these players. Everybody has their kind of own little quirk, their own little tilt on a build, and see how things would go. Diamondprox, of course, returning back to lane. He's going to farm it out and get more lane tags.
I'd like to see whether or not Peke subscribes to the Goro method of longsword stacking. Whether or not it's a Fnatic, team thing that they've talked about and theory crafted and, copied from, like we said, from the Asian regions, or whether or not it's just a simple case of I had the money for it. That question is answered as the Bilgewater Cutlass has been picked up. A little bit of poke on nRated, and he's trying to bait the fight, but Gambit are not falling for this one.
Cyanide is there, and YellowStar's actually been separated, which means they're going to focus on towards EDward there. Get a little bit of an expunge on that poison. doesn't really do a great deal, and Genja already avoided that. We're going to see the ward potentially placed. nRated wants to get it down and simply sniped. He didn't have a vision of him there.
No, that was blind and purely anticipating. He knew that Janna was moving up. And this is what we said about Genja's Varus. His skill shots and his timing on that piercing arrow are really, really good. So we'll see if he can continue to do that throughout the course of this game. Also take note, he does have Exhaust as a summoner spell. So if Jarvan or Zed jump on top of him, he's going to exhaust him immediately and try to survive all of that burst and all of that damage.
Well, the farm continues in this bottom wave. It's a much slower pace game. We'd already had 8 kills by now in the last match, and as it stands, it's still 0-0. First blood yet to come about. Let's look across the builds that are starting to appear. sOAZ has already taken down, picked up that Haunting, guys. We do see the magic resist Negatron cloak coming out from Darien as well, along with that little bit of hit points. Looking across, Bilgewater Cutlass being picked up by Peke, and straight reversal, the Seeker's Arm Guards coming out from Alex Ich. EDward pushes on towards nRated, quickly shields himself and heals off that damage. And the Vampire Acceptors both being picked up by the AD carries.
And exactly because of all that lane tax that Diamondprox picked up, you can see the vision come down for Gambit. They're thinking about going for that dragon, but Fnatic are aware of it. That's Spray and Pray has been used.
Spray and Pray has gone down, as is Crescendo. They're going to try and turn this one around. There's going to be the Chain of Corruption on towards YellowStaR. First blood goes down, it's Diamond that lands it. Now nRated is going to get taken low, as is Cyanide. Tries to slide through. That's going to be the double kill for Diamondprox, and that is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen.
Such great play, and so a little bit of miscommunication between the Fnatic members. They weren't expecting that level 6 from EDward, that Crescendo to come in, and there was no Monsoon from nRated. If they'd waited for a couple more minions and had the Monsoon available, they may have been able to reverse that, pick up first blood themselves. But it's hindsight is 2020 right now. Gambit, 2 kills, both of them on Nasus and the Dragon. That is a very, very good start in this deciding matchup between Fnatic and Gambit.
The smallest of advantages, and straight away Peke goes and takes away those Wraiths, and a pick comes out from Alex Ich. He knows the exact position and tries to land that Crescent Sweep on towards him, and does not. Is it Crescent Strike, actually? Crescent Sweep would be Zinzao.
Yes, correct. So pretty good starting for the two teams, and of course both blue buffs donated to the mid laners, so they're just going to carry on battling it out as best as they can. We do see a very, very good CS advantage for xPeke at the moment over Alex Ich. He's extending that to around 30 or so. And like we said, teams with Zed have gone undefeated in this series so far. xPeke will be hoping to continue that trend.
So, as it stands, let's have a look across the board. 1,000 gold, Gambit in that slightest lead. That's, of course, going to be down to that Dragon and the 2 kills they picked up. But, of course, as you mentioned, the fact that it is still just 1,000 gold does mean that Fnatic are doing very, very well in this laning phase. They have that advantage, so as in that top lane and the middle lane, of course, and actually the bottom lane as well in terms of farm. So they're leading in all parts of CS, and it's going to be Alex Ich engaging on towards Peke here. The Ignite goes down, but he's going to try and turn it back around on towards him. Doesn't quite catch on towards. The ultimate comes out from Alex Ich to close that gap. Going to get that shield down, and Peke's in all manner of trouble, but here comes his help from his team. It's going to be tag team time. The flash flails, and that's going to be Cyanide catching him, but Diamondprox gets caught in the Cataclysm as well. Is the Wither going to be enough to show him down? No, it's not, because YellowStaR picks up the kill, cleanses off that Wither of his own. Diamondprox is not done here yet. EDward's going to continue chasing. Genja came up the river as well, but it looks like it's going to be all she wrote, and Peke will be the one to back away safely after all the help from his friends. The
reaction there from Fnatic was absolutely fantastic. Everybody being in the right place at the right time, and a little unlucky for Alex because the Eye of the Storm, the shield from Janna, was actually not available as he got within range of Peke, so he needed a couple seconds longer before he put it down. Up in the top lane, they're fighting.
The Cocoon goes down, but he's going straight away equalizer. sOAZ probably using it in a bit of a defensive formation. Darien has managed to avoid that damage, though. Of course, that's on a fairly quick cooldown. I wouldn't say it's that quick. Harpoons are going to come back out again. Does land on towards Darien. Gets the second one. That lands on towards Darien as well. Keeping that poke down. He's chugging that crystalline flask down. And here comes the rat to see if he can sniff out the spider.
Yeah, a stinking rat is going to roll back in here. He does have Spray and Pray available if he wants to go for it. But outside of the harpoons, there's no additional CC here from Fnatic. So YellowStaR stealthed up. They're going to go for this dive.
They're going to go straight in towards it. He's going to catch the slowdown. The First harpoon doesn't land. sOAZ is actually taken very low, and the repel comes out. Is it going to be enough? The ignite's there. It's going to turn around. One more shot from the spray and pray of YellowStaR, and he takes down Darien.
So very, very well played. Darien almost manages to pick himself up a kill out of that one. So a good play overall. 2-2, they even up the kills, and all of a sudden Gold is bang on even.
While YellowStar's in the top lane, they are going to take down that turret, but you can see 3 members of Gambit in the bottom lane, and they're pushing on. They're going to try and take that turret down, or will they try and freeze that lane out a little bit longer? nRated wisely backs away from it, but Diamondprox, he wants to take the turret down, but Genja's just interested in farm, and now Diamond's like, well, fine, if he's just going to leave me to it, I'm going to steal all your farm as well.
Especially because they've just got that little bit of an advantage over the Twitch and the Janna lane as far as CS is concerned, but because Twitch has both of those kills, he's been able to finish that Blade of the Ruined King very early, actually, in this particular matchup, so they'll be very happy with that, and Twitch is an AD carry that you really don't want to get fed. Diamondprox trying to steal red buff. He's put the wither down on Cyanide, but I don't think he'll want this fight.
Well, this is in reaction because xPeke's just stolen away the red buff of Diamondprox, but Cyanide, like you mentioned, doesn't want to allow that to slide. Will he use the smite? No, he's going to give it across to YellowStaR because that dragon will be up shortly. And now he's going to be Genja backing off there. He has got Hail of Varus available, so I don't think he's going to get caught out by sOAZ just yet. EDward very bravely backing away. That's actually a blue buff in vain, and now Genja has been caught out. Howling Gale flashed away from that one. The equalizer does land on towards him to slow him enough, but he should be safe. Cyanide is there to the side, but you can see defensive duties of Diamondprox will be enough to force him away, but it's going to be a blue buff steal.
And that's very important. A champion like Diana is quite dependent on that blue buff. The cooldown reduction, as well as being able to just spam out those Qs, the Crescent Strikes over and over. It's important for wave clear, it's important for initiation. With all the pressure that Fnatic are putting in this bottom lane, though, Darien has just been left unattended in the top lane. He's got a lot of free farm, and he may even be able to pick that tower up, while Fnatic are now trying to put pressure on this bottom tower themselves.
xPeke will come up there and try and defend it, try and clear him off. You can see Fnatic there are just going to churn down this turret. That's going to take it 2-0 as that Howling Gale pushes that lane back out. Now YellowStaR continues to farm out the waves. Well, Genja and EDward, they're not going to let this one go just yet. They're going to have to be very defensive oriented though, because there's not many hit points left on either of those bottom turrets.
And that bodes very well. Did you see in the middle lane there, sOAZ pushing Alex out of lane with just that flame spitter. So he was in the danger zone, of course, it was dealing that bonus damage, but if Rumble is already applying a lot of pressure, bursting through the shield of Alex Ich's Diana, that means these team fights are going to go fairly well in their favor if they can force them. But what Gambit have shown is they can play a game where they play a split push, they play the map, and don't rely on 5v5 engagements to win.
Yeah, they do play the map, and they try and take as many advantages as they can. And as it stands, Diamond with the Spirit Fire going to keep sOAZ batted away from that turret for a little bit longer there. The dragon will be up in 20 seconds time, and Cyanide just warded it up now. I think he got that pink in towards that pit, so they're going to be well aware of the next fight.
Talking about that as well, Diamondprox's lane taxing has got him a sizable CS lead. He's got 2 kills as well, so all the experience from that. He's about halfway to level 10, whereas Cyanide is about halfway to level 9. So he's got that level advantage, which means he'll get his second level ultimate soon. Vision is available for Gambit. They've pinked it out. We heard a crescendo going down, and they've caught out nRated.
Down in the bottom, he uses the Monsoon, and that was very well done there, because the Chain of Corruption also caught on towards him. xPeke, meanwhile, he's split pushing, taking down that top inner turret. And Fnatic, they're just going to keep him at bay here. His equalizer is available. Cyanide goes in, flashes straight out of it. It is going to be the dragon for Gambit. It's going to be the cost of the top inner turret.
So you've got to feel that Fnatic will be happier about that particular trade. In game number 1, when Zed was being played by Alex Ich, they did a very similar thing. Split push allows Zed to control the bat. Now sOAZ has been with it.
They're going to dive in. He gets the moonfall back in there. Does manage to get the equalizer down. Tries to pop the shield. The Janna comes in as well to try and keep them away. Doesn't have Monsoon available, but Diamondprox is forced back away by Cyanide. Very well defended once again by Fnatic.
Yeah, again, just responding at exactly the right time, being where they need to be, when they need to be there. So very good play. It does mean that they've abandoned YellowStaR in this bottom lane. So if EDward and Genja want to go aggressive, they do have the possibility to pick up kills, but they won't be tower diving without that crescendo.
sOAZ is, well, he's just causing problems for them right now on that Rumble, and this isn't the first time he's done it. Diamondprox is also causing problems, though. He's been the man that's effectively tried to come in and defend against every time Fnatic go on that aggression. It did work out well for them. He picked up those 2 kills in that bottom lane last time he counted it in there. But you've got to start worrying about the likes of Peke. The fact that he's up above 200 CS, way ahead of Alex Ich right now, and he's already taken down that top inner turret, they are causing problems. And this is just, that's why that camera is right there. It's Peke Cam.
And that's a level 14 xPeke at 17 minutes to the level 12 Diana. So he's going to hit that 250 CS probably around the 20-21 minute mark, which is a massive amount of gold. Fnatic are grouped up here in this mid lane, going to try apply some pressure, but they're really going to need that Janna and Twitch combo. The cocoons on Peke.
Genja's free farming down the bottom, but we're going to see the repel coming out from Darien, but the rest of his team weren't quite catching on there because sOAZ was causing problems around the side. But this is buying Genja some time. He's going to shove on towards that bottom turret. YellowStaR is going to go down there, but that wave may well take it down on it by itself.
Yeah, that's very low from all that pressure that they had earlier in the matchup. Right now, though, it's a standoff in this middle lane. Fnatic do not want to leave this lane and risk losing their mid lane tower. So they're just going to keep the numbers advantage. YellowStaR is still not with them. Pay careful attention to his position because they're really going to need that spray and pray to help win these team fights.
So let's look across the items as we are at the nearly 19-minute mark, and it's 2-2 between the two. 3-0 Fnatic with the advantages in the turrets. Of course, that's where that gold gap is, as well as the free farm they've been getting. Gambit, though, could take their first turret here. They're going to push on. They put the Damash in, standard down Cyanide, but isn't willing to dive in towards it. Cocoon does land. They're going to dive straight on towards Cyanide. They may well catch on towards him. There's going to be a chain of corruption, and the great crescendo catching on towards them. nRated gets dropped as well as Cyanide. And now Gambit suddenly turn and burn. It's going to be Diamond Prox going down to Peke. Peke coming back in there. sOAZ manages to pick up the kill. He's on towards Alex Ich. Darien wants to finish off YellowStaR. Can he manage to catch it towards him? No, he hasn't. I don't believe it. And Peke picks up the double kill now. And what a great turnaround from Fnatic. From a deadly situation, from a great layered ultimate, they go 3 for 2.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. It was literally just a great setup from Gambit, but the response from Fnatic, spray and pray from YellowStaR, managed to catch out 3 or 4 members of Gambit just directly, going straight through all of them. That's percentage HP damage, just shredding everybody. So they defend that off, they get the kill advantage, and they get that mid turret. That's 4 towers down to the 1 of Gambit. Fnatic are 4,000 gold ahead of them at the 20-minute mark, and Peke is about to hit 250 CS.
Can Fnatic book the trend of the grand finals and pick up a win on the blue side? Fantastic play so far from them. So I would not want to bet against them, of course. Get over to lolesports.com, get your votes in there, because this game has got on a knife edge right now, and frankly, I just wouldn't bet against anyone. It is so close. Diamond Prox picks up that red buff. He goes in towards the top lane. Darien, he went so deep in that dive. Diamond Prox is the only one that seems to have a cool head right now.
Yeah, so he's playing a lot smart in terms of positioning, and, you know, felt that the engage was good, but he didn't overcommit to it. And immediately you see once the fight is down, the game just resets, everybody securing their own buffs and just roaming around the map. The one thing that Gambit are going to need to put together is some sort of answer for Peke. How do you stop Zed split pushing? Right now, if he goes toe-to-toe with Darien, with Diamond Prox, or with Alex Ich, he will win those trades because he is so far ahead in items and in terms of survivability. He's about to build a Guardian Angel.
That is a scary thought already in this game. Peke is very strong right now. YellowStar's getting himself from free farm. In fact, they are setting up their standard aggressive defensive formation. This is what Fnatic do. They sit and bait it out, and look at that. Alex Ich is like, no, I am not going down that deep on the lane. I am going to sit this one out. Now we see Peke pushing there, but YellowStaR is the sneaky one. That little rat is sneaking in towards the bush. He's going to stealth up, get in towards that bush, and see if they can set up a gank. Now,
it's definitely going to be a possibility. Look at the damage coming down. It's not quite as much as you were expecting. Going to need a little bit of armor penetration for Peke before he can really shred them down. The rest of Fnatic is here. sOAZ is forcing them away from it. The rest of Fnatic are staying tightly knit group here in this bottom lane, and they'll start bashing away in the tower very shortly. YellowStaR getting a lot of damage quickly.
This is the second inner turret of the game that Fnatic are working towards, and they've already put down a good layer of a third of the health off that turret. Diamond Prox, he was kept away from by sOAZ there in that engagement, and that dragon perfectly timed by Fnatic in 12 seconds, although they're a little bit early.
They are a tiny bit early, but it was the pressure that they applied in the bottom lane. They have very good vision in and around Dragon. It does look like Gambit are going to come and contest this one. Ward is instantly cleared there by members of Gambit and Fnatic. They haven't started Dragon just yet. They may want to pick a team fight before they go in for the Drake.
Remember, of course, they don't want to be grouped up too tightly because that crescendo could turn the fight. Of course, the chain of corruption that's been coming out and landing so well from Genja could be a problem for them. The Howling Gale comes by, but they do try and drive by. They've gone aggressive on towards Diamond Prox. They're going to put the death mark down on him. Will they be able to pop him quick enough? He's going to use that ultimate. He's trying to just run away from this one. Kite them for that little bit longer, but that means the jungle down. Gambit have to back away from this fight. They're going to get pressure on towards nRated. He forces the flash away there and then pops the Monsoon. The Dragon will go to Fnatic.
The chain of Fnatic, and because it did not connect with anybody and root anyone in place, no one else from Gambit dove forward. So Fnatic, they get a kill, they get a Dragon, and they maintain that gold lead as well as the map lead right now.
It's a 5,000 gold lead now for Fnatic. That is a big difference this early in the game. Of course, last time we did reach that 54-minute mark, but Gambit are going to have to go some to try and stretch this game out because Fnatic, they can smell victory.
They are definitely sniffing at blood in the water, and the fact that they are so deep on terms of the Gambit's map in their jungle, pushing their inner towers, it bodes well for Fnatic. What it also means is it can turn instantly. If Fnatic stay too long, if they stay, pushing a tower when they shouldn't be, there can be 2, 3, 4 kills picked up very quickly from Gambit because they've got that assassin potential. Diana and Elise will dive onto somebody with Nasus drawing attention from the rest of Fnatic, and they can pull themselves right back into this game.
Well, we do see once again xPeke being that thorn in the side, and look at this, he can take down Diamond. He wants a piece of this. He's already just seen it in that last fight and is like, yeah, I got the damage to kill you, and I'm quite up for this 1v1. You said it yourself, the fact that there's nobody really that can stand against xPeke right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to commit multiple people, and what that ends up resulting is you'll have 2 or 3 people going to contest xPeke, and the rest of Fnatic are going to push other lanes. We've seen them doing this the entire time. And we do see EDward, he clears that ward to that Oracle's Elixir, and if he'd been a millimeter to the left, xPeke may have actually dove over the wall to go for him.
Yeah, we also saw sOAZ maybe trying to get a sniff on towards EDward. They do clear out those wards and come in towards it. Pings going down around, but the vision is all Fnatic's, or it was, until EDward with that
Look
Oracle.
at the positioning.
He's going to dive in. He's going to get on towards EDward. There's no way he's going to be able to survive this one. We do, though. He manages to live just that little bit longer, but Diamond Prox going in the crescendo, hitting all members of Fnatic there. Chain of Corruption also going in. Now Alex Ich diving around the backside. He could pick up a multi-kill here. He's going to get on towards YellowStaR. He does pop the Zonya's hourglass, and he's not going to be able to get away from this one.
I cannot believe it.
YellowStaR picks up the kill. They just can't catch a break, and Fnatic are driving it home.
I cannot believe how well they play the coordinate. Genja is out of position.
He's been caught. The flame spinner's going to go down. He's going to get finished off by xPeke, who other would pick that one up. And now, they could push on towards an inhibitor turret here, but for now, they're going to keep their losses, and they're going to back away, and that's a 3-4-0.
3-0 at the end of that engagement, and YellowStaR and nRated getting away with a whisker of HP, using everything under their power to stay alive. You see the Zonya's hourglass going down, and the moment it came out, the knockup was there from nRated. So, Alex so close to turning the tide of this game, but unfortunately, those whiskers determine that Fnatic are still in control.
Yeah, obviously with a dog on your team, those whiskers are a problem, Diamond. He's just not been catching a break right now. He was once again in there, but it was EDward that kind of got caught and started the whole fight off. But there's so much damage, so much burst potential right now from Fnatic, and they're just working so well as a unit to defend any member that gets called out. They covered YellowStaR so well in that last fight.
It's the best description of it. Every time a member of Fnatic has been somewhat caught, think back to the mid lane engagement where xPeke almost went down. They managed to save him. Right now, you can see Alex. He's alone, and he's going to get jumped on.
He's absolutely dead. He's going to try and see if he can get the kill down on towards YellowStaR, but it's not enough damage with those two. This is what Fnatic do. Whether it be sOAZ and xPeke or YellowStaR and xPeke, they will push down a double lane and manage to get the kills, and it works so well. And it's actually something that you always see. Every time YellowStaR is there on Twitch, they will always stack together.
And no matter what happens, they succeed. Because if you do not go into the lane to CS, you lose the experience and the gold. If you go into the lane to CS, you get ganked and you die. No matter what happens, Fnatic win. Look at the positioning here on sOAZ and xPeke. They're about to find out Genja. If Equalizer was down, they could have jumped there, but there's no death mark. That is very important. Without Deathmark, I don't believe they're going to just throw themselves at members of Gambit.
They're going to push on towards the inner turret, though, so that's going to be 5 for 2 in turrets now to Fnatic, and that stretches their gold lead to 6,000. And they are just looking unstoppable in this game. Can Fnatic take the grand finals? This is the final match, or will Gambit be able to defend this one?
I have a better question for you. Can Fnatic siege under an inhibitor turret? That's the real question. With the amount of wave clear from Nasus, Diana, Elise with the spiderlings, and Varus with the piercing arrows, it's going to be very difficult to get damage on that turret, especially because Twitch does not have the longest of ranges until he activates that spray and pray. So, if Gambit can stall it out, and we know that they have the ability to do so, they can pull themselves back into this game.
xPeke does continue to churn through those waves and gets very close to passing 300 CS right now. All he's got, Blade of Rune King, Guardian Angel, and the Brutalizer, but that is frankly all he needs. He's a beast, and he's absolutely popping anyone that he finds. We do see the Runic Bulwarks both completed for Cyanide and Diamond Prox, so they are going to be doing a job for their team. It's almost a standard build item right now for any jungler.
That's the truth. And in terms of the junglers, you can see there is some vision down towards the river, and both of the junglers are going to be called on to defend this next dragon. 25 seconds on the clock. The last time Fnatic pushed it, they pushed the bottom lane out, applied damage to the tower, and then fell back to the dragon. So we'll see whether or not that is going to pan out. Right now, though, Fnatic seem to be grouping up in and around the Baron, and YellowStaR's actually started this one off.
Started it off like nRated's like, dude, I'm stood right next to a ward. I'm trying to clear this out. Why the hell are you attacking Baron for? And the damage actually onto YellowStaR and nRated was a bit of a problem. But xPeke is fine Diamond. He's not going to engage on him yet, though.
It's because he used the shadow to get over the wall. He needs that shadow to get additional damage and make that death mark pop. So now that's available off cooldown, if they jump on Gambit, they can pick this one up. Peke is literally running interference. That's all he's doing. They baited Gambit into thinking Baron's going on. The rest of the team's run down to Dragon. That is one of the best psychological plays I've ever seen.
Absolutely, completely throwing them. And, well, that does stretch that gold lead yet more in towards Fnatic's favor. Gambit, though, they can't be left too long to just keep on farming. They will eventually manage to pick up a win in one of these team fights. And Fnatic, they are slowly but surely running out of the chance to split push because they are up to the Gambit's base.
Take a look at the positioning here for Gambit. They've caught them out. Diamond's in trouble.
They've caught Diamond out. YellowStaR already used spray and pray right at the start of that fight. They may well have locked him out of this fight. You're going to see the repel. The crescendo comes out.
Crescendo.
Gambit are getting on towards this one. nRated's taken very low as well, but it's Peke that's in there. He is rampaging his way through the team. Darien's going to get pursued by YellowStaR. Can they turn back on towards him? Cyanide comes back in. YellowStaR does manage to take down Darien. It's a 2-for-1 currently, but it's going to be more because Diamond Prox is going to get taken oh so low. Can they get away from him? Alex Ich goes back in. He manages to pop one, gets the Guardian Angel of Peke as well, and does manage to avoid the damage. There's the Hail of Arrows to slow them down. It was a 2-for-2 trade, but more importantly, they took Peke's Guardian Angel.
That was a fight that Fnatic technically lost. They jumped in on Diamond, tried to use their abilities, and didn't stack them up particularly well. They actually lost 3 because the GA was popped, so a good fight for Gambit overall, and it will definitely give them some confidence going into these next matchups. And you've seen how long Alex survived in those fights. He took so much damage, and very importantly, dealt a lot of damage as well.
Dealt a hell of a lot of damage, and just as I was saying, you can't leave Gambit be for too long because they will eventually turn one of those team fights in their favor by hook or by crook. Currently, though, it's 12-6 to Fnatic. They have that 8,000 gold lead, and they are trying to keep their stranglehold on Gambit. It is a slippery beast to hold on to, though.
Yeah, 12-6 up in terms of kills, and that gold advantage as well as the map control is really what's giving Fnatic the ability to, throw themselves a little bit recklessly into some of these team fights. See a very good pickup. That's 11,000 gold there for YellowStaR's Twitch, 514. He's just picked himself up a Quicksilver Sash, so he'll be able to get rid of the Cocoon, get rid of the Wither, something similar. But look at the positioning again. Gambit grouped up to defend blue. Fnatic may be trying to steal.
They tried to steal. Alex did manage to pick it up, though. Cyanide was there with him as well. This time around, they're actually continuing to chase on Fnatic here. They may well try and continue through the bushes. Instead, they're going to turn back to mid.
Take a look at the CS numbers again for Peke. 32 minutes into the game, 355 CS. If he continues at this rate, he's going to hit, 6-item build way sooner than anybody else. He's got that Ruby Crystal picked up, so he'll be working towards that Black Cleaver as his next major item pickup. And that's obviously going to help him shred people down even quicker. Right now, Fnatic have got a fair amount of wards in their possession, and it looks like they're going to start setting up some vision for Baron. I imagine it's a possibility, but more of a bait than a completed objective right now.
There's 3 Zhonya's Hourglasses on the items right now. sOAZ, Darien, and Alex Ich, and they could be crucial in this next fight. With that Guardian Angel down as well of Alex, we do also see the Quicksilver Sash picked up by YellowStaR. Felt he got locked up a little bit too heavily in that last fight. Diamondprox does lend cover to his support. Of course, EDward trying to get those wards into wards, and his roles reversed. This time it's nRated in there clearing them out. Peke caught a little bit out there on the golems. He does have to back away from that one. He was using his Living Shadow to avoid the damage. And nice poke. Both teams won this fight.
YellowStaR, he's just gone invisible, and sOAZ has snuck around on the side. In terms of vision, Fnatic are well aware of Gambit's position. There is no oracles on their side, and they stood right on top of a ward. So if an equalizer does go down, they may actually jump on this. And nRated was being very, very brave, clearing out that ward, because the rest of his team had fallen back well before. Nevertheless, he gets it, and he backs away safely.
The rest of Gambit, they turn, and they may see an advantage here. They think the Fnatic may have gone back and try and shove that mid lane. That's exactly what's happening, but luckily sOAZ is there to keep that flame spitter going, to keep that wave pushed up in towards the Gambit area. There's a wave along the bottom. Zed's going to show himself. Peke is down there. Gambit, no. They have the numbers advantage. They're going for it. They're trying to push up mid.
We'll see if they can jump in on the team fight. Peke is going to get to safety. Alex has gone through the mid lane. There's no summoner spells blown or any abilities yet, but that's a 5-man stack. The Russians are going to carry on chasing, and pretty good damage from that Howling Gale. In terms of wave clear, it's going to need to get very close to the tower before they can get the splash damage down. Eye of the Storm is on the turret, and Peke continues the pressure.
Yeah, that shield's not going to be enough. Gambit do a quick hit and run, and that was turned around. But Peke, look at this. He's going in towards that inhibitor turret. Have Gambit managed to get caught out here, or is Peke going to try and close in towards him? You can see he's heading across the jungle. He wants to close the gap on Fnatic. Fnatic are not letting them back off here. There's minions are going on towards it. There's going to be a catch on towards EDward. Are they going to be enough? Look at that, he just got melted. sOAZ catching on towards that. Howling Gale comes across as well and interrupts the fight. They're going to catch on towards Diamond. He's going to get popped in a moment. It's going to be Peke putting the damage down on him. He can't get involved in this fight. Alex Ich, he's getting locked up. Has got that Zhonya's Hourglass available. The Repel comes out. Darien avoids the damage. Alex Ich finally going to go down here to the flame spitter of sOAZ, and Peke picks up the killing blow. It's another great engagement for Fnatic. Now they're going to run to the Baron. It was a 2-for-0, but more importantly, everybody in Gambit was low.
Such a great play from Fnatic. They came in from 2 different sides. They managed to get so much damage down into EDward that he couldn't even get his crescendo off. He got knocked up into the air, which meant he couldn't cast that ability when he wanted to, and by the time he had a chance, he had been blown up. Immediately, xPeke throws that death mark down into Diamondprox. He couldn't stay in the fight. He would have gone down. He managed to survive by running away, but a 2-for-0 and a Baron for Fnatic. A 10,000 gold lead. They have 5 towers to 3, and you have to feel that they're in complete control for the next couple of minutes.
Gold advantage keeps on piling on for Fnatic. They now have 11,000 and the Baron buff lead over Gambit. Is this their win? Are they going to take down Gambit, the mighty Russians, in the grand finals of the spring playoffs? Can they do it? Can they hold on to their #1 spot? They are the #1 seed, of course. So over the season, you would assume that Fnatic would be the ones that would be the favorites, but you never bet against Gambit. As it stands right now, the items starting to pop into place. You can see everybody stacking to buy. And look at Peke, he's past 400 CS now. He's a full 100+ ahead of anyone in the game.
Black Cleaver completed, Lost Whisper completed, Giant's Belt in his back pocket, and a Guardian and Angel available for use if they go into a team fight. It's going to be so difficult for Gambit to win a team fight against that level of defense, that level of survivability. Right now, Fnatic have positioning on Dragon. They have the Baron up, so Gambit aren't going to fight a battle out in the open unless they catch somebody out. And Fnatic are just going to grab this one for free and carry on applying pressure across the map. Peke, he's alone split pushing the lane. Who would have guessed?
The wards are getting placed out.
Diamond's going to find a rat.
Oh, he's going to find a rat, and he's going to get caught out by it. The Howling Gale comes across, and that's YellowStaR picking up the kill. Is that the signal for Fnatic to charge into the base? Surely that top bottom inhibitor is already taken low by the minions. You can see it's already started the damage on it, and now they have that 4-man advantage. Darien takes a burst of damage, and Fnatic, they're just going to keep on shoving through once that wave comes in.
They've got the ability to. Deathmark is up, and that was just a small combo. There's the equalizer. Fnatic want to pick this fight. sOAZ has gone in.
Flame Spitter on towards Edward. He's going to get taken down. The crescendo had to be used, but he's on his hourglass straight away. Darien repels, and that is going to be the first inhibitor of the game. Peke comes on, tries to do it hit and run on Darien, can't quite pick up the kill, and everybody from Gambit is forced away just by Peke. And the first inhibitor of the game goes down. It's Fnatic that gets it.
They brute force their way in there, slam shoulders to shoulders, and just completely push Gambit back. They managed to get that single kill on Diamond in the jungle, and that is what allowed them to pick up that inhibitor. With the inhib down, Fnatic are just going to allow their minions to help them push the rest of these lanes, and it's just a matter of time before they get this mid-inner turret. That's going to be the next target. YellowStaR, he's going in on Darien, but Darien switches to Spider form to try and use that repel if it was needed.
Well, these players have been going for over 5 hours now. It has been a stamina test for them. And, of course, Crepo is saying that's nothing. To come back when you've passed 8 hours, or in fact, it was like 3 days overall, I believe it was. But the stamina test for Fnatic has been long and arduous, and we saw Gambit before this game. They were looking so stern and serious based on the confidence that Fnatic got from picking up that last win. Is that enough to take them over the line? Peke's going to come across. He might be able to actually catch on towards Edward there. Instead, chooses to back away from that one. He could have turned that into a fight for his own.
I was about to say, Edward's feeling very brave on his side of the river there, because you know, Peke can just pop him like a balloon. Now take a look at the lanes right now. 2 members of Fnatic near the top lane. Janna being played by Alex Ich is in the bottom lane, all alone without teleport, so will not be able to join a party unless it takes a long time to run there. Fnatic are grouping up to try and push the towers, while Gambit are completely all over the place.
Great map play once again from Fnatic. The equalizer comes down on towards Edward. They push that top lane, forcing Darien to go up and reply to it, giving them open season to push in towards this inner turret. That's going to be the third one. So well played by Fnatic there. They're just maneuvering Gambit anywhere they please.
Yeah, they're making the decisions and forcing Gambit to react. Now they're going to try and siege up this inner turret. Super minions are a couple of seconds away from getting into the base of Gambit. And right now, Fnatic see some minions in the top lane, so they'll roll up there, and this is what's going to be happening. They'll go top, middle, until such time as those super minions are causing Gambit a problem. Gambit will respond to the super minions, and that's going to be the go signal on that inhibitor turret.
Well, if they go top, middle, or bottom, we'll see if they can strike it lucky, because right now it is Fnatic pushing on through in towards the inhibitor base. Remember, there's super minions coming along that bottom wave, so Fnatic are going to keep applying that pressure, and those Nexus turrets are gonna have minions on them in just a few moments time.
So we'll see how well this wave clears. We talked about it a moment or two ago. The Spirit Fire and the Crescent Strike so powerful. 1 or 2 auto hits onto that turret. Now the super minions, they are onto the Nexus minions. You can see the caution, the fallback pings there for Gambit. Spirit Fire from Diamond Prox is out along with his smite usage to try and get them down as quickly as possible, but the pressure is on. Can Gambit hold a second inhibitor? If another one goes down, you have to imagine that is game, that is GG for Fnatic.
The waves keep on coming. Remember, there is no Baron buff. It has worn off. It doesn't matter. Fnatic are quite happily continuing to shove on in towards this inhibitor turret. The super minions continue to go. There's minions coming up the middle turret. And more importantly, everybody's ultimate is available for this next fight.
Yeah, after that little siege in the middle lane, Equalizer is back available for sOAZ. He used it to zone out Gambit to get the first inhibitor. Expect the same to happen again. There's a couple of minions pushing out from the mid lane, and YellowStaR, he was thinking about going down. Actually, it looks like he has responded. Going to clear out this wave, get some more gold. It would be a 4v4 this top lane if a fight broke out, but with a 15,000 gold lead, Fnatic would probably still win that one.
He put a couple of shots on towards the inhibitor turret there as well, so he's actually starting to do more damage. And Alex Ich tries to respond to this one. Chain of Corruption lands on sOAZ, but he's on his hourglass is straight out of it, and Peke goes in. He goes aggressive. Who is he going to get fined? It's going to be Edward taken so low. Spray and break coming out from YellowStaR. That's going to be another kill going down. Darien tries to repel, tries to go deep, but Alex Ich ulti uses on his hourglass. He's got a Guardian Angel as well. He's going to be so chunky to survive from this one, but Darien goes down, and Fnatic continued to push on through. It was a 2-0 engage, and their super minions still continuing to push on those Nexus turrets. Gambit, luckily though, have just got a wave of minion spawn to repel them.
The focusing and the control there from Fnatic was so good. Alex did the best that he could to pull YellowStaR off the rest of the team, and he actually turned his spray and pray around. At the time, YellowStaR was shooting through the entirety of Gambit, and Alex positioned himself in such a way that Yellow was aiming down. Now Peke is very low. This would be a Guardian Angel versus Guardian Angel fight. There goes Alex.
Manages to get the ultimate in there, but straight away manages to get away with it with his Twin Shadow. Didn't even use Flash. Didn't
need to use it at all. Just a Shadow Clone was enough. You got to think with Death Knockdown, would have been an interesting fight actually to see who would have won that one. Nevertheless, Gambit, they defend the top inhibitor. That is very important. They save the tower. They save the inhib, even though it cost them a couple of kills. The game, it is not over yet. And we heard them saying earlier, they will never surrender. They will not say we are done. And this game is definitely still on.
Well, it's a 15,000 plus difference. That is pretty damn huge. 17-7 in terms of kills. YellowStaR's going to pick up the blue buff, and the Dragon Baron wards are starting to come out. Look at his nRated. He's trying to paint a pretty picture of wards all around that river area. Fnatic are looking so strong here. They're going to start the Baron up, and I don't feel that Gambit are going to be able to do anything to deal with this.
This is just going to get shredded so quickly with Liandry's Torment and double Blades of the Ruined King. All of that, percentage HP damage just completely drops it. That was, what, 7-8 seconds on Baron. So it's Baron number 2 now. That does go to Fnatic. They're immediately going to start the siege up in this top lane. The inhibitor has respawned for Gambit in the bottom lane, so they're not going to be too worried about super minions as those waves will start to peter out. But in terms of itemization, Orandian's Omen has been completed for Peke. So if he dives into a team, he's going to slow their movement, slow their attack speed, and mitigate a lot of damage that can be put down.
5 members of Fnatic come up head-to-head against 5 members of Gambit with the turret, but the Baron buff, the all-important Baron buff, will be enough to surely win this fight for Fnatic.
2 Guardian Angels apiece in terms of the 2 teams. Diana as well as Varus. On the other side, Rumble as well as Zed. So we'll see how this effective 7-on-7 fight turns out. Fnatic wisely deciding to back away. And you see how important that wave clear is. You talked about the team and the ability that Gambit has to fend off sieges. And it's paying dividends right now. Unless Fnatic all in, Gambit will be able to hold this tower for quite a while.
Peke is shoving that wave in the mid lane. Genja shows himself at the bottom. Hasn't completely cleared out the wave though. And now the top lane's being pushed in. YellowStaR's on the top lane. It's going to get the damage down. The inhibitor turret is going to drop down. But it's going to be Alex Ich. He's going to try and engage on towards it. So as he goes for the better equalizer comes across. Crescendo only caught 1 member right there. Cataclysm comes dumping down. Diamond Proxy is going to get dropped by Peke. And now it's going to be another kill. Alex Ich on towards Cyanide. Sonya's Hourglass from Alex Ich. Is it going to be enough? The Moonfall pulls everyone in towards him. He's still got that Guardian Angel. sOAZ is going to get taken down very low, but it doesn't matter because Genja's been dropped. It's a double kill picked up for YellowStaR. Can they get on towards Darien? One more shot. He's being chased on towards the Nexus Fountain. Fnatic may well have done it. They're going to take down the inhibitor in the top lane. There's minions pushing up the top, the middle, and the bottom, and Fnatic are on the Nexus turrets. The grand final winners will be Fnatic taking down Gambit Gaming 3-2. What a fantastic performance from Fnatic. They finally win out on the blue side.
Look at the excitement. They have done it. They bucked the trend. They broke the blue side veil. They picked up the win. And what a way to bring it home. Fnatic have lost their minds. They are jumping. They are screaming. Ladies and gentlemen, Fnatic are the European League of Legends Championship Series Spring Champions.
Fantastic, fantastic performance. They look strong from the start. And wow, what a game. Finally, it is a victor. It's not the one you thought it would be. The #1 team in Europe right now, it is Fnatic. We're going to go across towards our analysis desk to take us through that fantastic victory. And we'll be Joe Miller, Jason Kaplan, and of course, Scumbag Crepo. But what a great performance by Fnatic there. Gambit just looks shell-shocked.
Thanks a lot, Demon, and what an amazing finish to that indeed. I mean, as Demon rightly says, Gambit looking shell-shocked there, but it was the whole start to that game that really didn't go their way. It was not like the game before, or like the games before that even. I mean, Fnatic, they looked like they had that plan, and once it got into motion, they never really let go of the grip.
I think both teams are looking pretty exhausted here, and you could really say that Fnatic was a team that was the most awake. Go through the entire early to mid-game, they were constantly saving each other. You saw nRated with some couple clutch shields, Cyanide as Jarvan, I'm helping quite a few times, saving the other guys. The only mistake they did was engage 2v2 bottom, where on a level 5 Sona from YellowStaR, but they turned it around with a beautiful crescendo, and it basically was an amazing game. If you look at the screen right now, I think you have the fans cheering, like the entire studio was lit up.